Hey, welcome to the Simeon Henderson Show, where we are giving a voice to the people. We are live, baby. We are live. I hope you guys are ready for an awesome show. I have some dynamic, phenomenal women on the show today. And let me tell you this. So today I did my inspiration and motivation, and it was a special alert. And that special alert was that you are special. That's right. You guys are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are the author and finishers of your creative faith in everything you do. So I want you guys to understand this and notice that it begins with you. It ends with you. You're the head and not the tail. You're above and not beneath. You're the lender and not the borrower. And when you know all of these things, that's when you'll be successful. And that's when you can get to the next level, when you just know who you are and you know your worth. So without further ado, it's Wednesday night, and I'm super excited and ready to get this show started. But before we do it, we're going to kick it off just like we do, a little something like this. Get ready.
Ain't no stopping now, it ain't no stopping now. Ain't no stopping now, there ain't no stopping now. Ain't no stopping now, it ain't no stopping now. Ain't no stopping now, it ain't no stopping now. This what you wanted, cause ain't no turning back. This what you wanted, cause ain't no turning back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Simeon Henderson Show, and we are excited to present three queens. We have three queens amongst us, and we celebrate the truth and strength of phenomenal women who rank as leaders and influencers in honor of Women's History Month right here on the Simeon Henderson Show. Tonight, we're excited to have with us CPD Lieutenant Davina Ward. Ladies, she is been on the force for 20 years in the criminal justice system and social service systems. Lieutenant Ward is a member with top ladies of distinction of life, and she's a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Secondly, we have with us Dr. Katrina Ferguson. She's a motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and she practices real estate, and she practices finance and law, and she is also one of the founders of UCE. And lastly, but not least, we have Serita Love. She's an author, she's a brand and marketing strategist, and member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And these three ladies are well-established, independent boss queens and living their best life and giving back to their communities. We salute them and we celebrate them right here on the Simeon Henderson Show. Let's bring them in and meet the ladies. There they go. There they go. There they go. What's going on, ladies?
Everything.
Hello.
I just want you guys to know that me and my creative director, we took some time to put together some really nice words about you guys. And it wasn't hard to do because you guys put so much out there that it is just really easy to talk about you and who you are and what you do. And we appreciate you guys for that. We have people already tuning in to the show. We know it's going to be a great show. So I want to get it started. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
One question before we start. Have you guys been able to share this on your pages? Because we don't want your people to miss any of this.
Absolutely. I think so.
I think everybody has social media but Lieutenant Ward. I don't blame you, girl. So we're gonna get into it. Let me change this background a little bit so I could just have so I can see you guys, and I want to put up who you guys are so people will know. And everybody, tonight's show is sponsored by Recon Credit Repair, and they are changing lives one credit score at a time. I can tell you that I'm a living testimony to it because my credit is now 700 plus. And, I'm going to tell you one thing. People don't understand how important credit is, but until you need it, right? So let's get into it. Now, ladies, welcome to the show and congratulations on your well-rounded success. And I know you guys personally, and it's so funny. Davina, I worked with her years ago, guys. You guys know I was a cop, but those days are long behind me. So, and let's start with you, Lieutenant Ward. Tell us what inspired you to pursue a career in criminal justice. Because you don't look like you're gonna fight nobody, shoot nobody, choke out nobody, none of that.
Well, that's in my past. I have 22 years of experience with CPD, but that was not my ultimate goal. My goal was actually to become a judge. So I was a paralegal actually before I became a police officer, but I wanted to go to law school. So my mother convinced me to take the test. And here I am 22 years later, now a lieutenant, and have about 3-4 years left before I'm going to retire.
And you know it's not too late for you to be a judge, right?
Yeah, I know.
But you don't. Now, let me say this. You're going to retire. You don't look a day over 35.
Oh, thank you. I won't tell my age, but thank you.
So look, I don't know if it's a lighting or you're just beautiful. Whatever it is, just stay in that vein right there. You good.
It's the Lord. It's this God. God is good all the time. All the time.
You know what they
all
say.
The time, God is good.
They say black don't crack. I look like I look like 31. I go 31. So, Dr. Ferguson, here we go. Talk to us a little bit about if your why is big enough, the how will take care of itself. You say that. That's what you're saying. If your why is big enough, the how will take care of itself. What does that mean?
It truly does. Well, one of the things that I found truly super early is that as a single parent mom, I realized that if I wanted to do something, I just had to have a big enough reason why I wanted to do it, to get it done. And when I decided I wanted to be crazy successful, it was because my children were watching. And I didn't think that they should miss out because their parents couldn't get along. So once we separated and ultimately divorced, we had a crazy lifestyle. I mean, we had really good things that were going on. We were making good money, had the great house, the great vacations. I was able to stay home with them. So we had the Kool-Aid house, the Girl Scout cookie mom, all of that stuff going on. When we separated and divorced, I was like, well, Dad, I have to go back to work, but should my kids suffer? Should they not still have the same things that the other kids in the neighborhood had? So I figured, you know what? My why was big enough. My children were like my driving force. And I just came up with this whole idea that if your why is big enough, how to do the thing, ultimately it takes care of itself. And a clue to your why is what hurts you, WHY. It hurt me to think that my kids wouldn't be able to go to prom or on their high school class trips, or we're going to miss field trips or miss a meal or not have a roof over their heads. And it hurt me to think it so badly that I was willing to work from 8 to faint. I was willing to do what others weren't willing to do so that I could have the success that others weren't willing to have. So I coined the phrase, if your why is big enough, the how will take care of itself. And that's driven so much of what I do. Now, here's the kicker. You know, once your kids are eating, you have to find another why. So then the why became, let's feed nations. You know, once the nations are fed, now you got to find another why. Let's house nations. Like, we got to find your why has to keep morphing, because as you begin to achieve these things, you know, you have to find a bigger why. So it's an amazing journey, though, through life, being able to impact lives and do things for other people that they couldn't do for themselves.
I love it. I love it. Your why has to expand.
Big enough to make you cry. If your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough.
Come on now. I like that. I love it. I love it. So we're going to keep going. Serita, tell us about your strategy for combining books and street smarts, and how effective is it? It is.
Oh my gosh. It all boils down to authenticity. We are in a time where you can be multifaceted. You can bring Ebonics. You can speak Ebonics and still be in the C-suite in corporate. And people know that there's a gear that you can switch. And you know how sometimes people say you're not keeping it real. You can still keep it real. I'm going to bring it around full circle really quick for you. Mr. Henderson, corporations want their employees to be ambassadors. Corporations want to look sexy on LinkedIn. And the only way that can happen is if an employee, no matter what position they're in, what role they have to be able to bring their full self to the workplace and still be professional. So me combining book and street smarts is me bringing Inglewood to Fortune 100 and 500 companies unapologetically. So across the country.
All right.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, guys, everybody, you're watching the Simeon Henderson Show, where we are giving a voice to the people. We are celebrating Women's History Month. I always say Black Women History Month, but we're celebrating Women's History Month. And I want to give a big shout out to my executive producer, Jamani Anamdi, my producer, Jose Perez, and my creative director, Shelton Smith, and Intellectual Radio and Earl the Other Winfrey, because this platform is so necessary and it's so key to build people up and educate people on what they need to know. And it's not that people don't know it, it's just sometimes you have to remind them.
Yeah.
And listening to you guys is super dope. And Lieutenant Ward, let's go back to you. How does it feel to be a woman of color in a high-ranking leading position with CPD? How does that feel?
Well, to be honest with you, it was a struggle, and it's still a struggle. Me being a Black female and being a lieutenant with the Chicago Police Department. One, it's a male-dominated field, not just male, but white male-dominated field. So, you know, we are struggling every day to make ourselves heard, make ourselves be known. But myself and other African-American females on the job, we let them know we are here and we are here to stay. And believe you me, some of us have moved up. We have some deputy chiefs, we have some commanders, and we're not going to stop there. We're going to keep going until, you know, we continue to break that glass ceiling. So it's a struggle, but we keep going. We don't let anything knock us down. We just keep going.
And I'm sure you know her. My aunt is a retired commander, Cindy Sam.
Yes.
So it was so funny because when I got on the job, it was her and my uncle who talked me into it, because I didn't want to be nobody's police officer.
Me either.
But let me tell you this.
I'd have paid money.
I got a couple of pictures. Maybe I'll throw a picture up before we get off. I'll throw a picture up. I got the ability to do that, so I'll throw a picture up. But when you talk about serving and protecting, and especially right now in this day and age, and the way the climate is, with being a law enforcement officer, what is it like for you to try to change the narrative within the force?
So, of course, we have a lot of things going on. Like one, for instance, is the George Floyd trial that's going on now with the officer, you know, and then we have other things like police brutality, racism, discrimination, all that's going on in this world today. On top of that, we have this pandemic. So we as African Americans, especially African American law enforcement officers, we have to change the narrative. So there are certain things that we have to do to, one, have the trust and gain the trust of the community. We have to let them know that we are here and we play a pivotal role as African American law enforcement officers. So what we try to do is get those young people and middle age, I'm gonna say that because, you know, you have to get on a job before you turn 40, to come on the job to help us change the narrative. It's one thing to be on the sidelines to say, oh, you need to do this, or why don't you do this? But it's another thing when you come join the forces and we can do it together. So what I do is I try to bring the community together along with officers, African-American officers, to show that, hey, we're trying to change the narrative. We're trying to do something different with CPD, not let it be the same CPD that it's been for years.
Okay. I love it. And Dr. Ferguson, let's get back over to you. Talk to us about your breakthrough journeys. I mean, that the journeys that helped you become your greater self, and your nonprofit organization, A Sister's Love.
Yeah, well, what we have found is a lot of times in our community, it simply takes someone who's been there to turn around and say, girl, you know what you're going through, I've been there. Let me share with you how I got out. Let me share with you what worked for me. It's simply someone taking your hand and saying, this is how it turned out. I know I meet so many, especially our youth, who are not necessarily hard-headed. It's just simply that they have been misled so many times. People have either taken advantage of them, or purposely use them kind of like as an experiment that they don't necessarily trust anymore. So when they meet someone who has experience and is not going to be judgmental, who is simply going to say, listen, I even know how you got there. Because this is what happened to me. I like to tell people I'm cornbread, right? There's nothing special about me. I just didn't give up. I simply kept trying. I simply wasn't too good to admit that I was wrong. I'm not too good to tell you what I've been through and what I did wrong now, because we've all made mistakes. Nobody got here perfectly. And if they did and said they did, they lying, right? So I don't conjugate all my verbs right. And there are going to be errors in judgment that I've made. And I have no problem telling you what I did so that I can, I'm relatable. So let's talk about where we are. Let's talk about where we're going. Let's plot them out. On my Facebook page right now, I had a young girl in my office yesterday. She's 16. Mm-hmm. And she likes to hang out on her cell phone all the time. I said, give me 1 hour, just 1 hour. And let's write out with everything you want to do over the next 5 years. Like 20 minutes, just write it all out. And then take the next 20 minutes and put it in order of how you want to do it. 2021, 2022, and so on. Then I said, let's take the last 20 minutes and write down 5 steps just to do what you want to do next year. And then as she wrote it out, she said, well, in my mind, it kind of made sense. I said, that's why you get it out of your mind and on paper. A simple exercise that she will never forget. And we didn't drive to my office. We walked. Why? Because that's when you get the life lessons. You're driving, somebody driving by, they blowing a horn at her. And she's like, oh, she's looking. I said, why are you looking? I said, nothing good comes from somebody blowing a horn at you on the street. Ever.
Especially if you're a woman walking. Especially if you're a woman walking. They blowing that song.
I thought it might know you. I said, how you going to know you from your back?
You might have a nice
from your back.
Weed or something. They blowing it something.
It ain't nothing good. They blowing it. So, I mean, these are the types of things we have to slow down sometimes to help our young girls speed up. And that's what a sister's love is. I love you like a sister. I love you enough to tell you the truth. I love you enough to walk through the mess with you. Even though I already know the answers, I'm going to help you discover the answers for yourself.
And see that I love that. See, that's where we're missing it. We're missing it right there. It's those little things, those little things, man, those little tidbits. And you have to take those and you have to understand that it means a lot. And like they see your name, Dr. Katrina Ferguson. Oh, she's a doctor. She should be so eloquently spoken. And man, let me tell you something. I couldn't read, and you guys know my story. I couldn't read until I was in 6th grade. And now I'm learning 100-page scripts. I'm doing my own show. I'm interviewing beautiful, smart people and just trying to empower people to simply be their best. Everyone has a story, but who's willing to tell it? Right.
That's it.
And that's why when I heard Serita's story when she was first on my show, I was so intrigued with it because man, that's the female version of me in some aspects. I'm listening to the same things I went through, the same problems, the same issues, and overcoming. No one is immune to the trials and tribulations of life. So Serita, when we talk about that, tell us about your work with the youth and what it means to be a success junkie.
Oh my gosh. It's so weird to go like straight into the thing we're supposed to talk about without like tying other dots. Because Dr. Katrina said something.
Katrina's fine.
Yeah, it was just something about the why. Never mind. I'm gonna stay with the question.
No, you good. Hey,
I almost wish this was a panel. Like,
hey, let me tell you something. The title of my show is "Giving a Voice to the People." Don't hold back. Whatever it is, this is unscripted. Whatever it is, let it go because somebody needs it. That's why God is pushing it through you because somebody needs to hear what you're about to say.
Yeah. So Katrina said something about the crying. And I was like, light bulb, is that why I've cried so much within the past 45 to 60 days? And what that's about is me completing my first TEDx talk, which was about trauma.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, so I had to take a deep, deep dive that included therapy starting last summer. Never been in any form of therapy ever in my life. But I was like, if I'm going to stand on a platform and speak on my personal trauma, I need to explore that. Yeah. And that was tough. So Success Junkie we know that junkie is not or wasn't a positive connotation.
Right.
All I did was remix it. All I did is say, if you're gonna get hooked on something, get hooked on something good. So, and when you're hooked on something good, sometimes you have to recall on the first hit, it's a positive hit. It's positive. And once you reflect on that thing, and just like that 16 young lady who was just referenced, you know, those goals that she had wrote down, if she connected the dots to that first hit, maybe it was making the cheerleading team or getting in the debate club or something like that. It's like, wait a minute, I can entertain, I can speak, I can teach. Now she's connecting the dots with her possibilities, and those goals align. And then, like negative junkies, there are side effects: relapse, withdrawal, isolation. They're synonymous, but they're positive side effects when you shift your mindset. And then last but not least, to really, really answer the question, tying the youth into it, once you achieve, every single one of us in this room right now are successful in our own right in different ways, and we intersect. But we never get high on our own supply and forget where we came from.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Don't forget. And so that's difficult for me as a parent of a teen right now who is a scholar, but we've all been teens. That mouth just got that teenager in big trouble this past weekend. Big trouble. I'm like, you smart, but you gonna learn the mama. You ain't never really have to see her because you smart, but you're gonna learn this weekend. And that's just me keeping it all the way real.
And we just wait till they get to that. Just wait till they get to those college years. Woo, my daughter's in college, graduating.
We think, and it throws us off because our kids are doing so well and they're so mannerable and mindful, but they're still kids, and they come out with, I can't tell you how many times I almost hit Simeon in his jaw, and he's one of the most respectful kids I know. I'm like, boy, you almost got your head knocked off. But
that's because they forget. They forget.
That's right.
But when we remind them, it's that reverent fuel when we remind them that brings them back to who they are and why they're successful, because we don't let up on.
Exactly.
You have to love your kid. You have to love your kid enough to put your foot in their ass. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in full concurrence with
that.
Yes.
And I'm saying yes as a police officer. Yes.
But see, Serita, you just messed me up. Serita, you just messed me up. You just messed me up. When you talked about the trauma and having to go through therapy to be able to share it, because I'm working on the book, the life book. It's called Waiting to Exit Hell. Not exhale, but waiting to exit hell.
Woo.
And it's the story of my journey, which is like a lot of women, because we go from hell to hell, these situations in our lives, and we wait for a freaking invitation to exit the hell that is that situation, as though we need permission to walk out.
Right.
Because we care more about the people in the situation than we do ourselves. And our ability to impact the lives of others. And we waste so much time, so we wait to exit hell. And so you just messed me up, because that's the answer. The way for me to deal with it and get that book finished is to begin to have those conversations with that therapist. Thank you, sis.
What you doing over there, Simeon? What you doing, man?
let me tell you. Look, let me tell you how I know this.
I'm about to mute y'all so I can make this call.
let me let y'all. There are no mistakes. This is all purposeful. It's all on point. It's like she's talking about that book From Hell to Hell, and then my next ebook is Facing Your Goliath. Overcoming obstacles. And I was like, I want to do a cover that's going to really catch people, a cover that's going to mean something. I don't want my face on the cover. And the cover we came up with, and I'll show you guys, that it's a man and he's looking, there's a stack of books, and it's a man looking at all the books. And in each book, there is a title, like alcohol or depression or drugs, or like there's all of the Goliaths, meaning all of the giants that we face in our life. Someone's facing some type of giant or has faced it. So now it becomes more about the message and not the messenger, and what's the purpose of you doing this. And when I look at you guys, the purpose of what you're doing, it's just so instrumental to people. They have to get it because it's good, and you guys are helping people. Like, oh man, let me ask these last few questions because it's like I said, I knew this was going to be this type of show, and this is going to be one people are going to go back and watch it because there's all of the nuggets that you guys are dropping. They're priceless gems, just like you guys. So I'm gonna go back to you, Lieutenant Ward. Talk to us about serving as vice president with Noble and being a member with the National Council of Negro Women and Ceasefire Award for Effective Policing.
So a lot of people will look at me as being a law enforcement officer that may have been born in the suburbs with a silver spoon in my mouth. That's what they think when they first see, oh yeah, we know you don't know anything about the streets. Little do they know, I grew up in Stateway Gardens and Washington Park Homes. You know, I come from a family where there was domestic violence and drugs. You know, I'm a middle child. So there was a lot going on in my life that brought me to the place where I am now. So you try to explain that to, you know, people when you come across them, that first of all, we didn't grow up in Schaumburg. We grew up right on 35th and State, right in them high rises, 3517. And when they look at that, and then I say, oh yeah, my father was on drugs and, you know, it was domestic violence in my house. They look at me like, what? Are you kidding me? Yes. But look where I am now. I didn't become a product of what I was born into or what I was raised into. I came out of it, and it's nothing but God. I tell people all the time, I'm also an ordained deacon in my church at Trinity United Church of Christ. So the same time that I became a police officer, a week later, I became ordained as a deacon. So I know for a fact that it was ordained by God for me to be where I am and what I'm doing. So
yes. I love it. And let me say this, let me throw this out to the people. And I had to get past this. I used to always be afraid of speaking up about how good God has been in my life, right? And I mean, it goes all the way back to when I played football in college. Before every game, I sat in my locker reading my Bible, and everybody listening to music, doing whatever they're doing. And about 3 weeks ago, one of my old teammates said, man, I used to always admire the fact that you could be that you're that much into it, and your spirituality and your faith, but it showed when you went out on the football field and you scored 2 or 3 touchdowns a game, but you were always focused. I wouldn't take a drink, I wouldn't do none of that stuff. And I'll be honest, I took my first drink my senior year after I turned 21 after my last game and didn't like it. But it was like going in the barber shop. I used to always want to talk about God, right? And I never would, because I thought nobody would listen. And one day I did, and we all started talking about it. But you don't know. And it's not about being the most spiritual. It's not about thinking you're better than anybody, but it's about knowing that you've been through some things and you've been some places and you've come out of some situations, whether it's mental, physical, or whatever have you, and you know it was nobody but God that brought you through. So that's why today when I said you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and God made you great, you're many gods, I mean that, because we are. And when you know that, that's when you win. And so Dr. Katrina Ferguson, talk to us real quick about the experience of being featured in Essence magazine. See, guys, I don't know, everybody watching this show, I don't know if you guys know, but it's some heavy hitters on here. Like, they doing some big things. Come on, we doing TED Talks, we running national councils, we on Essence, we in Ebony, we doing all kind of things. So this show is to show you that Black people come from nothing and make themselves something, walking in faith. Go ahead.
Yes.
Now, that's a funny story, because at the time I kept getting this phone call from this writer, and I wouldn't return the call. I wasn't returning the call. And my girlfriend called me and she says, is this person calling you? And I said, yeah, I keep getting a message, but they're not telling me what they want. She's like, would you please call them back? It's a writer from Essence magazine. I was like, oh, okay. So I called her back. And she was doing this article because there was a statistic out that said that single parent moms had on average had a net worth of $5.
Mm.
Wow.
$5. So they were trying to find 10 single parent mothers who had a net worth of $250,000 or better. Just 10. Now you're calling me over and over again. That's not a good commentary, right? So we were talking, and she had some questions, and she said, well, what do you attribute that level of success to? And I said, well, I believe in multiple streams of income. And it was back, if you remember back in 2008, when the bottom fell out in real estate, I was making a ton of money in the industry in real estate. And when the bottom fell out, because I had multiple streams of income, I didn't lose anything. I mean, I had houses that were on the market that dropped $500,000 in value, like overnight. It was crazy. But because I had money coming from other streams of income, I could change my attention. We didn't lose anything. And so when she sent the article for me to proof, me just being a little forward, I sent the article back with a picture of me getting off the private jet. And it's so funny. So I'm vacationing in Miami. I get a phone call. Oh my God, you're in Essence with a picture. I'm like, stop playing. Let me drive around trying to find this magazine. But it had come out to the subscribers first, and sure enough, they posted the article with the picture. But I just remember thinking, what if I didn't just take that shot? What if I hadn't just, the only shot you miss is the one you don't take, right? Mm-hmm. And I just think about that. And even like now, I go into, just like Lieutenant Ward, I was ordained as a minister and literally walked into a church, and COVID shut me down in terms of my ability to travel, because my anointing is more apostolic, to move around and minister in different churches. So I've been going to the same place, and they are starting to call me pastor. And I'm like, my anointing is not really like church pastoral. It's more like marketplace ministry. People come into my office, and I'll shut the door. We go throw some oil. We gonna pray. We gonna see the sick get healed. We go, you know what I mean? That's what we do. We do it in more of a business environment, but God will use you if you're willing, wherever you are. Like, that's just kind of how that goes. And so I'm really excited. People are so afraid of this Goliath called COVID, but I really believe that, Jesus is the breath of life. So if I'm inhaling Jesus, there's no room for COVID. There shall no evil befall me, nor shall any plague come nigh my dwelling, only with my eyes. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So will we behold and see the reward of the wicked? So things happen. Things happen. I'm not going to say that they don't, but I just really believe that we just need to change our confession. We got to shift our belief systems and then do what you have faith for. People want to fight about, should I get the vaccine or should I not get the vaccine? Well, if you have the faith for a vaccine, get the doggone thing. And if you don't, then don't. But do what follow your faith. What is your belief system? Believe in something so you don't fall for everything.
For everybody, that's right.
Everybody, they don't do things on the merit of what people are saying. You're listening to people that don't know the facts, people that aren't, they're not well versed in the area, but just because they heard somebody say it wasn't good, now they're going. It's like, sometimes you have to make a decision for yourself. Make a decision for yourself. I was one of the first people that said, I ain't taking no vaccine. And then I ended up taking the vaccine. I said, you know what? I said, God, you're going to protect me. You've been protecting me. And I'm going to tell you like this. A lot of people, God bless them, and I hope they're in heaven. But a lot of people, when they go, it's their time to go. I don't care how it happens. What was the cause of it? And we don't want to admit that. And we don't want to say, yes, that's true. But it's true. So we have to come up off of that sometimes and just go. Sometimes we have to make a decision. You got to make a decision.
What do you have faith for?
That's it. I'm having faith that ain't no corona gonna take me out nowhere. Okay,
there you go.
So here we go. So you guys got me fired up. I gotta ask Serita. I was gonna ask you a question when we came back from break, but I'm gonna ask you now because we rolling and we in it. So tell us about your TED Talk with Rush Medical Center on the success of trauma.
Man, look, the best thing that I can tell you is the title. So it hasn't released yet, but it is the success of trauma, how challenges creates champions. All I did, I think I'm a DJ of success because I be remixing everything negative. And I just created a new form of PTSD. I've created a new form of PTSD, which is a post-traumatic success do-over. So it's just a self-recalibration. And Simeon, when you just mentioned I took the vaccine, when I think of you and I think of your faith, I'm making this term up like I do. I think you have experiential faith. I think you're just willing to take the risk for everybody to just be proof. You are always social proof. And I want to commend you for that. But that's the short of it. I used my story, found some ahas in it, and then I just reframed the thought of PTSD, telling others, you don't have that PTSD. You just need a post-traumatic success do-over. And I can't wait for it to be released because it was very well received when it came out a few weeks ago.
Serita,
I can't wait either.
So I got to keep it together, and I can't. I don't know if it's because I got all women on the show or whatever, but like I'm literally almost in tears by what you just said, Serita, because you have no idea how many times I wake up in the middle of the night, how many times I'm at the gym, how many times I'm thinking, are you doing the right thing? Why do you keep on trying to inspire people? Are they listening? I'm out giving COVID tests. I'm out feeding everybody all during the COVID. I'm doing all of this stuff. And I just said, man, and I know I'm not perfect. I know I make mistakes. I know I got to get it together. But I want to be an example of what can be if you just stay faithful and you stay strong and you stay committed and consistent to what you're supposed to do. And it's just my heart just aches sometimes when people just don't get it, or when they don't believe in themselves, or when they don't know that they can do it. And that it makes me understand. And that's why I always say no one is immune to the trials and tribulations of life, because no one knows what I go through personally. No one knows the ups and downs that I'm going through and different things like that. But when I'm on the outside, I want people to see a smile. When I'm on the outside, I want people to know that they can be encouraged. When I'm on the outside, I want people to know that they can have whatever it is that they desire and that they can step up and stand out. And when you said what you said, that was touching to me, because it's proof that somebody is getting it. Somebody is seeing it. And it's not about people acknowledging you, but it's about knowing that people are getting it. So that's what I'm so excited about you guys, man. Y'all.
Yeah. But Simeon, here's the thing though. What you have to remember though is everybody ain't for everybody.
Yeah.
So everybody's not gonna get your message the way that you deliver it, just like everybody's not gonna get mine. And you gotta be okay with that. Even the word says one man waters, one man plants, another man's going to harvest. So you plant your seed and you move on. You don't have time to spend time with the people that you weren't sent to, right? So you got to go out there and you find the people that you are out there for, and let Serita handle her folk, Lieutenant Davina handle hers, and I got mine.
It is.
Got that? Because what you're doing is for the people that you were sent to. You good? You're all right.
Exactly.
I'm gonna keep gleaning from y'all. I'm gonna keep picking y'all brain. I'm gonna keep calling on y'all, and we go.
You keep doing what God has called you to do. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Keep letting God continue to lead you. That's the whole thing. If you let God lead you, you will continue to do that He wants you to do and all that He needs you to do. But you gotta let Him lead you. You have to.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. You got one. There's one person that you have to please. That's it. That's it. The rest of them, so because they'll let you down every single time. I mean, I'll be happy with you today. Tomorrow, I'll be mad.
Yeah, exactly. I know you. Yeah. Hey, Sybil, that's Sybil over there.
You don't know.
Hey, so guys, before we finish up, I got to get to the 5 things that you need to know for Black History Month right here on the Simeon Henderson Show. But before I do that, I want everybody to take a look at Dr. Ferguson and watch what pops up.
His picture of him.
What?
Can you see that?
Oh,
that's what I remember him. I remember him looking like that.
when I'm gonna put it on the big screen before I pull them up. But I just had to pop that up for y'all. That was me. Because a lot of people don't believe I was a cop for real. They're like, no way, you weren't a police officer.
Oh, I
I'm like,
remember.
trust me.
That's your Proby. That's like your police academy uniform, right?
That was me fresh out the gate.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. I stand corrected.
So everybody, you're watching the Simeon Henderson show where we're giving a voice to the people. Sorry, hold on. Let me get that. Well, we're giving a voice to the people, and we have the phenomenal women, Dr. Katrina Ferguson, Lieutenant Davina Ward, and Success Junkie Serita Love. And we are going to take a quick break and give you the 5 things that you need to know by our very own Chicago Fly Guy. And we will be right back. And before you see the Fly Guy, check out this young guy on the screen.
It's your Chicago Fly Guy bringing you the top 5 things that you need to know right here on the Simeon Henderson Show for Women's History Month. Number 5, Pearl Bailey made her debut on Broadway in 1946. The American singer and actress received a Tony Award after being cast in the all-black production of Hello, Dolly. Number 4, Naomi Osaka is a tennis powerhouse. Osaka received her 4th Grand Slam after she defeated Serena Williams and Jennifer Brady in the Australian Open. Osaka is also an activist for Black Lives Matter. Number 3, Henrietta Wood is known in history for receiving the highest paid settlement after she sued the man who kidnapped her back into slavery. You go get him, Henrietta. Number 2, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yes, Ruth was an activist for women empowerment, and she kept voting rights alive for minority groups. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the 2nd woman to become on the Supreme Court in 1993. Number 1, Mahalia Jackson was the queen of gospel. Yes, she was. Mahalia sang at the 1963 March on Washington. Yes, she inspired Dr. King in his I Have a Dream speech. And you can catch the life of Mahalia on Lifetime, April 3rd. I'm your Chicago Fly Guy, and these have been the top 5 things that you need to know right here on the Simeon Henderson Show for Women's History Month.
Hey, boy, I love the Chicago Fly Guy. He always bringing that knowledge and giving us some stuff that we need. And I just want to tell you guys have been wonderful. People are watching the show. People are somebody said, hey, Soror.
Hey, Soror. Shout out to my Theta Chi Sigma chapter and my Sigma Gamma Sorority Incorporated.
Hey, that's one thing. Hey, that's one thing, boy. Always crack me up about these sororities. All these ooh whoops and these yip yips and these ooh. Well, I don't know what y'all be talking about. I said, look. If I hear one more puppy call, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So guys, man, it's hard to believe it's been 45 minutes and we've been just going and talking, but I just want to tell you guys, I appreciate you all so much just for sharing your journeys and who you are and the things you're doing. And I think this is and Serita, you know me, Katrina, you know me. This isn't gonna stop. I will have you guys on again because, like I said, it's so necessary. And you guys give people hope. You give people, you empower people, and you let people know that they can do whatever they put their minds to. So before we get out of here, I'm gonna start with you, Lieutenant D. Ward. Since you're at the top, I'm gonna start with you and do me a favor, do 2 things. Leave the people with some words of wisdom and where they can follow you.
Well, one thing I want to say is words of wisdom for African American women. Never let anyone keep you quiet. Always make sure that you speak what's on your heart. Never let anyone tell you that what you cannot be. And always follow God. Regardless, follow God. And I'm actually not a media mogul here, so I don't do social media. But I am on Instagram at brownsugar_587. So you can look for me on Brown Sugar on Instagram _587.
So y'all know what that means, don't you? You think she's sexy? Anytime somebody got brown and sugar in their title. Brown, I don't care what you say, brown sugar's good, right?
Well, she looks sweet over there, so it's appropriate.
Hey, look, okay, brown sugar. Okay, Serita.
Same question?
Yes, I'm sorry. Same thing.
Okay.
Leave the people with some words of encouragement and let them know how they can follow you and what you got coming up.
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of serving first. So when you meet strangers, find out what you can do for them. I think what makes you memorable when you meet people, especially within about the first 5 to 7 seconds, is getting to know not what they do, but who they are. Get to know people. People are really going through and growing through things that you cannot believe. I recently had a loved one have their 46th birthday. And on that birthday, she was told she has 60 days to live. And she passed away within that time frame. And I had to go through that process while preparing for a talk about trauma. You will be tested. Serve first. Be memorable in a way that people will keep you in mind and bring you in rooms that you don't even believe you belong in the first place. And I'm really easy to find. You type Success Junkie, you find Serita Love, and it will be more than a pleasure to be in touch with you.
There you go, Dr. Ferguson. Yeah.
So I just want to encourage everyone, especially as we close this celebration of Women's Month. One, let's not stop celebrating. Celebrate your individuality, become your greater self, and be more you. Be more of who you are. Don't be who other people. As somebody, I think I was saying today, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. Be more of who you are. If you are a servant leader, be more of a certain servant leader. If you, enjoy spending time by yourself, spend more time by yourself. Do what makes you better. Because if you don't get you straight, if you're not the best you can be, then you're not going to be who you need to be for everybody else. And we as women often sacrifice so much of ourselves that we never, ever experience, our greater selves. Dare to be the greater you, be more you. And that's not to the exclusion of anything or anybody else. It's just that sometimes we need to settle down. I'm about to release this book by a good friend of mine. It's called Entering God's Rest. It's lessons from Mary and Martha. It's coming out for Mother's Day. And Mary and Martha, chickenhead Martha, she rushed around and she was just trying to take care of stuff, where Mary knew how to rest and understand that her productivity came out of her learning how to sit down and rest at the feet of Christ. We've got to learn how to rest and still get things done in that space of rest. And that's an internal thing. So be more you. You can find me on Instagram at Ms. Katrina Ferguson, on Facebook at Katrina Ferguson, and as on the internet at Dr. Katrina Ferguson as well. So, and I just want to say I am so honored and privileged to have shared this opportunity with my sisters. You guys, you have enlightened me. I feel greater. I feel more connected. I just love you all. Thank you for what you are bringing to the world, for being your greater selves. Simeon, you rock. Love you, bro.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Everybody, thank you, you guys. Everybody that tuned in, we had a lot of people tuning in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You're watching the Simeon Henderson Show, but we're giving a voice to the people. I have to give a big shout out to my executive producer, Jamani Namdi, my producer, Jose Perez, and my creative director and producer, Shelton Smith. And and I just want to say that you all are powerful. You guys are loved. You guys are the epitome of success. And I'm so glad that I got a chance to have you guys on the show, because you guys are good enough. You're more than enough. and I want you guys to keep inspiring. I want you to keep educating and keep motivating people to simply be their best. And I got to get you guys some Be Symbolic gear because we just got to push the word out there, man, and keep people going. So, Katrina, be quiet because you already got some.
You know this, and you know this. It's all down in my family.
So, you guys, thank you guys so much. And you're watching the Simeon Henderson Show, where we are giving a voice to the people. And we are about to get out of here. So let's. And I got to show you guys one more thing before I let you go. This is the thing I was showing you guys about the. You might not be able to see it too good, but see the.
Wow.
Oh, so, yes, we see it. Yeah.
The book cover.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this stuff out. We're gonna push everything you guys are doing because people need knowledge, they need information, and they need that revelation. So you guys have a wealth of knowledge, and we're definitely gonna get it out there. So guys, you're watching the Simeon Henderson Show, where we're giving a voice to the people. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we're gonna get up out of here.